Welcome to Good Enough for God. I am Dayna, and I would like to welcome to my basement here in Cincinnati, Susan Wiesemann. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you so much for having me, Dayna.
Do you like my basement here in Cincinnati?
I love your basement here in Cincinnati. It is so cozy, and I'm kind of wanting a similar setup in my basement.
This is Dayna's world. You've heard of Wayne's World.
Right?
Yeah, this is Dayna's world. So welcome to it. This is the world where typically there's laundry all over this table that needs folded, but
relatable.
I folded it before you got here. And this is where my daughter Romy secretly watches trash TV.
Oh,
She
what
watches
trash TV does she watch?
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Okay.
And what was the other? Love Island.
Oh, I have not watched either of those, so I cannot comment.
Yeah, I haven't either. She secretly watches them. She thinks I don't know, but I do.
But you do.
And so
And
usually,
now she knows that you know.
I don't know if she'll listen. We'll see. So anyway, welcome. We met a few years ago
Yeah.
at a women's Bible study.
Yep.
And we have a lot of mutual friends.
Mhm.
And I know you from the group, but I don't know you super well. I'm getting to know you because you have written a book,
Yes.
and I'm reading your book, and it's called Undoing Superwoman.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm up to chapter 4. I'm not done, but I really, really enjoy your book. Like,
Thank you.
I don't want to put it down. I mean,
what a great compliment.
Yeah, I think it's really funny, and I think it's super relatable, at least to me, and very conversational. It's just a really easy read.
Thank you.
So
Such a great compliment.
yeah, you're welcome. So before we dive in to your book
Yeah.
and getting to know you better, I thought we could figure out kind of how compatible we are as
Okay.
friends. Maybe take our friend.
Fun.
Yeah, we could go to another level
Yes.
in our friendship.
Let's do that.
Okay. So I've got some icebreaker questions for you.
Okay.
Okay. Number 1, do you know how to drive stick shift?
I do not. I once asked a guy I was dating to show me, and I think he was so afraid that I was going to ruin his parents' car that he wouldn't show me. So no, I never learned how to drive stick shift.
Okay. Would you like to learn still or not really?
Not as worried about it now.
Okay. All
Was
right.
that an offer?
I mean, if you want to take it, yeah. I mean,
No, that's okay.
okay. I drive stick shift and I prefer it. So I guess we're, you have a somewhat of a willingness.
Yes, I was willing.
It could work out between us.
Okay, good.
Okay. Another question I have, what is your all-time favorite TV show?
Oh boy. What is my all-time favorite TV show? This feels like it should be an easy one to answer. Let's say probably the show Psych.
Oh, that's a good one. I do like Psych.
Yeah. Because I think Sean Spencer
It's funny.
is hilarious. But oh my gosh, why am I forgetting his friend's name?
Oh, Gus.
Gus.
Guster.
But yes,
Burton Guster.
Burton Guster. He's the secret favorite.
Okay. Yeah. I
He's
love Psych.
hilarious.
That is a really good show. We've watched that with our girls, and I watched it when it first came out. I think it was on USA Today. Came on after Monk, which I love Monk.
Yes,
So I
also
watched
good.
Monk. Yeah. My favorite was Parks and Rec.
Oh, I think I've only seen like a handful of episodes. I don't know why. I
Okay.
don't know why I've only seen that many.
Well, go home and watch all those and get back to
And
me.
report back?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know I was getting homework during this podcast.
Yeah. So, Susan,
Yes.
are tacos your favorite food?
One of my favorites.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
What's your favorite? Absolute.
I don't know if I have an absolute favorite.
Okay.
But tacos are up on the list.
Perfect. I love tacos. That's
Okay,
my
good.
favorite.
So we'll have to go get tacos sometime.
Yeah, I think things are going to work out just fine.
Excellent. I'm
All
so
right.
happy to hear that.
All right, we've broken the ice. So let's talk about your book,
Okay.
Undoing Superwoman. In a nutshell, well, I don't know where to begin. I want to know, I want you to talk about what it's about, what led you to it.
Mm-hmm.
Where should we begin?
Well, the way I ended up writing it and just what it's about is the full title is Undoing Superwoman, Losing Total Control to Gain Ultimate Freedom.
Oh,
And the whole premise of the book is it's a field guide for women to find freedom from having to be a superwoman, and it's told through the lens of my healing journey. I ended up coming down with what turned out to be an incurable autoimmune disease. And apparently, according to my doctor who eventually diagnosed me 2 years in,
Hmm.
according to him, it's because I was trying to be a superwoman.
Mm.
And basically, the autoimmune disease that I had was one where it attacked the part of the brain that controls all of the automatic functions in your body, so that we take for granted.
Okay.
So, heart beating, lungs breathing, GI function, all of it, just everything we take for granted, like everything went haywire because I had such toxic levels of stress and anxiety and fear that it just completely short circuited that part of the brain. So God took me on a long journey of learning how to rewire my brain, a long journey of learning how to go through forgiveness and repentance and grief recovery, just all these things I didn't even know I needed, but God showed me that I needed it. And part of that was, as the subtitle of the book suggests, learning to let go of control
Okay.
and handing that control over to God.
And the name for this autoimmune disease is dysautonomia?
Yeah, and like I said, it's supposed to be incurable. I double checked to make sure. Like every article I read said that people don't heal from it. It's really just symptom management. But after 4 long years, 2 years after I got my diagnosis, I was given a clean bill of health. I was told
Wow.
I never needed to come back to see that doctor
Hmm.
unless I really needed to, but I haven't needed to, and I've been healed ever since.
Did you ever fully receive that you wouldn't be healed from that?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, when right at the very, very beginning,
Mm.
I mean, of course, I was scared. The beginning of it really started with ending up in the ER on my 45th birthday.
Okay.
I was going to go to a cycle bar class. I was gonna try that out, and I thought, "Okay, I just, let me get my workout gear on," and I'd been feeling really worn out, but I just
Kept
figured I was
going.
just out of shape. Yeah, and I just
Yeah.
kept pushing myself. And then that morning when I was going to go to the workout, I almost passed out walking across the room, and I almost passed out leaning over to get my workout clothes out of the laundry basket, and I knew something wasn't right, and so I went to it was a Saturday, I went to
Hmm.
the doctor an hour after I left after I mean, they had done a blood draw. They told me to get to the ER stat because they thought it was a very high possibility that I had a pulmonary embolism or
Oh
worse.
boy. Wow.
So that's how it started,
Okay.
and then
E-
from there,
Every
symptoms just got worse.
okay.
It felt like my body just fell apart, and, so my symptoms I had muscle weakness that was so severe that I had to take breaks from something as simple as chewing food.
Hmm.
I had to
Oh my
take a break
gosh.
walking upstairs. My heart raced 24/7 like I was running a marathon all the time. I had to take a 2-hour nap every day just to get through a day, and I couldn't even have a conversation like this
Oh my gosh.
because I would get short of breath, which I later found out was because I had lost almost 20% of my lung function, and I've never smoked a day in my
Oh
life.
man.
And so it's just all of these really weird symptoms. I
Probably made you want to start smoking. I need a cigarette. Oh my gosh.
You would think that it's not
That's
there,
good.
but I spent 2 years trying to get a diagnosis, and I lost count of how many
Yeah.
tests I had,
Hmm.
and, doctors just didn't
Yep.
know what
Yeah.
was going on until I got to this doctor who said, "When I see otherwise healthy women your age get what you have, it's because they're trying to be a superwoman."
Okay.
I wasn't the only one.
Right. And you talk about in your book women and
Mhm.
how often they get autoimmune disease, and it's way more than men.
Yeah, 80% of those afflicted with autoimmune diseases are women.
Okay. Why do you think it's women?
I can make some guesses,
I
and
can too.
some of it I think can be, uh, like, there could be some,
Hmm.
hormonal aspects to it, but I don't I'm not an expert
Hmm.
on that. What I am an expert in is the fact that I used to act like a superwoman. Like I
Yeah.
had to be everything to everyone,
Mm-hmm.
that I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. And I can tell you that all of the times I've spoken to a group of women, I haven't met a single woman yet who has said, wow, I don't relate to that at all.
Unless their house is really messy.
Or, I don't know. It's just I haven't met anyone yet. Every single
Yeah.
woman has said,
Yeah.
"Wow, I can relate to that."
Yeah.
That they're pushing themselves
Oh,
beyond the
yeah.
point of
Oh,
exhaustion,
yeah.
that there are all these expectations, whether they're spoken or unspoken, that
That are on women. I think
yeah,
once you start doing stuff, like even just at home, as a mom, as a wife, you do all these things, and if you try to stop, everybody's like, "What the heck? What, you want me to clean the bathroom? You're not gonna clean it?" You do everything around the house, and then when you can't do it anymore, or you think, "Hey, I need somebody else to help out," they're like, "What? You used to do it all."
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
this morning, I'm down here and I'm reading your book, and my husband's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Can I put your podcast stuff away?" And I said, "No, Susan's coming over. She's gonna be on the podcast." He's like, "Oh, well, the house is a mess." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I worked all day yesterday."
But I think that, and who knows, you're right. I mean, if you get in patterns of doing certain things, if
Exactly.
you
They're
have certain
expected.
roles,
Exactly.
I mean, like I think in all of our marriages, we all have our specific roles that, have kind of been carved out, that just, you kind of just get into your slot and your routine.
Mhm.
And especially if you grew up in in the kind of environment where the expectation was the wife, the mom is going to do, all
Oh,
of
sure.
these things.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if that's the way you grew up, and
Mhm.
that's, that makes sense that that's
Of
how
course.
you would operate. I would say in my case, I took on a lot of things that I did not need to take.
Yeah, responsibilities that weren't
Yeah.
yours. Yeah, I did the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if like even though in marriage you can do a division of labor, just because, you're like I said, you get used to doing a
Yeah.
certain thing, like, okay,
Mhm.
well, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. And, my husband does tons,
Yeah. Mine does too. Yeah.
in our marriage. And, there's definitely a division of labor, but there are other things in my life that responsibilities I took on that
Mhm.
I had no business taking on. So eventually, my body said, no more. I can't take it. And that was it. My body just shut down.
Yeah. And then you talk about in your book, there are different ways, but at least two that come to mind that helped you on your healing journey. Like, first, you talk about your relationship with God needed to
Mhm.
change.
Yep.
And the other thing was what you eat
Yep.
needed to change.
Yeah, those were the two big categories. So as far as like relationship with food and how my environment affected me and affects others, it's
Hmm.
not just me. But the food I ate, especially when I would get stressed out, and I think a lot of us fall into this category of when we get stressed out, we go to some comfort food or some comfort habit that
Hmm.
probably isn't great for us. So when I was in a great space, then I was eating pretty well, or in some cases, I thought I was eating well. I mean, I definitely felt prey to the eating processed
Oh,
packaged
sure.
food, like from
Hmm.
the free, like, Hot Pockets and, like
Yeah.
Lean Pockets and Lean Cuisine and, just
Lunchables?
right. So, I didn't know
Yeah.
just
Hmm.
how processed those were and what that could do to my body. But even, like, when I knew I wasn't making good decisions, if I was stressed out, I would be in a pattern of, "Okay, I'm gonna hit the drive-through because I didn't have a chance to
Yeah.
pack a lunch. I'm gonna hit the vending machine because I deserve a little treat. I'm going to have a glass of wine while I'm making
Hmm.
dinner
Hmm.
because I am really stressed out and I quote unquote deserve it." And all of those things just cumulatively
Yeah.
caused so much inflammation in my body. So the first stop on my healing journey tour was a friend of mine told me about a holistic health practitioner
Yep. Yep.
who really helped me clean up my diet. And she also was able to get me some supplements that were able to really rebuild my immune system.
Hmm.
And I think get me stronger so that I could be prepared for doing a lot of inner healing.
Yeah.
And so that goes to the second part of it, my relationship with God.
Okay.
And my relationship with God at that point was, I mean, I loved him. I loved God. I believed in Jesus dying on the cross for my sins, but I still very much believed that it was a one-way conversation. Like, okay, I'm
Mhm.
just praying. And I had absolutely no expectation that I would hear back from him.
Yeah.
And when you have that kind of relationship with God where you don't believe that you're going to hear back from him, then it made me feel like I had to make all these decisions
Yeah, and it
on my own,
Mhm.
and I had to be in control of my own life. And so, so much of this journey that God had me on was learning how to hear his voice, believing I could hear his
R
voice,
Yeah,
and that he wanted to have a conversation with me.
yeah.
And when I believed that, and when I started learning how to hear his voice and
Mhm.
have that conversation with him, that was the game changer.
What did he say to you, Susan?
I can't even begin to remember all of the things that
Mhm.
he said to me. He speaks to me in so many different ways, I've discovered.
Mhm.
Now, so much of it is in songs. I mean, like,
Really?
yeah, like whether it's Christian songs or whether it's secular songs, like, and I'm saying this for anybody who's listening who might not even realize, like, hey, there could be like some creative ways that God could be trying to talk to you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there will be mornings where I'll wake up and I'll just have the lyrics to some random song in my head, and it takes me a few minutes to realize, "Oh, wait, I haven't listened to that song." Whatever that
Why is
song
that
is, like,
there?
why is that there? And then I'll really, like, pay attention to the lyrics, and I'll realize, like, "Oh, this is related to this
Yeah. Wow.
situation going on in my life."
Mm.
Or he talks to me like, I think God talks to us in our dreams
Oh, yeah, that's
way
how he
more.
talks to me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember you get a lot of really vivid dreams.
Mm.
And, so I, took a class on
Yeah.
dream interpretation,
Mhm.
and I have a book that has a whole
Yeah.
metaphor dictionary, and it's
Mm.
opened up this whole world of, wow, God is so creative and has all of these really interesting and fun and creative
Oh,
ways
and
to talk to me.
yeah, and I think I've realized from the dreams he gives me, I write them down, and if I spend time in them and talk to him about them and dig deeper and try to understand the meaning and invite Holy Spirit into it, he does answer me back.
It's
It's like that's how we talk to each other.
Yeah,
We go back and forth.
yeah,
So that's part of how our relationship works.
it's awesome.
And I think a lot of people don't really, if you think about if you're in a relationship with somebody, what does that look like? Like you talk, you listen,
Mhm.
you spend time together. That's what it is with God.
Yeah,
That's what he wants. It's not complicated.
right. Yeah, and I was definitely overcomplicating it. I mean,
Yeah.
I really was. And I had just grown up in an environment where I was told that I wouldn't, that I shouldn't expect to hear back from God. I mean, just like I grew up in the Catholic faith, and I'm not speaking against,
Hmm.
Catholicism at all. And I don't know if that was doctrine or if that was just, like at my particular parish where I was definitely given the impression that, okay, the priest would talk to God
For you.
for me.
Yeah,
And so I just didn't know
sure.
that, I didn't know that that was an option for me. I didn't know that I could have a conversation with him. So
Mm.
it was so beautiful when I finally learned, like, oh, he does want to talk to me.
Yeah.
And actually he's really fun and has like
It's a good
really,
sense of humor.
he does have a good sense of humor, and he has just fun and interesting ways that he wants to talk to me.
Yeah. And I think that when you have that relationship with God and you take steps to do the things he has put on your heart or that he's talked to you about, you begin to feel lighter. Like you
Hmm.
begin to feel freer.
Yeah.
You begin to feel healthier. I just think first you got to be in relationship with him to understand what he wants from you. That it's really not that much.
Yeah.
I mean, he does want you to walk in the purpose he has for you, but first and foremost, he wants to be in relationship with you. That comes first. It's like what it says in Matthew 6:33. Seek the kingdom of God above all else and
Mhm.
live righteously, and he will give you everything you need. So seek him first, and then
Yeah.
these other things can kind of fall into place,
Right.
like your health. And that sounds like your journey.
Yeah.
You did that first.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I learned how to do it first. I didn't realize that that's what I needed,
Hmm.
but he showed me that that's what I needed.
And it was in his timing.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think Well, I know I've been guilty of wanting things in my own timing, like now.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But in those situations, he uses it as an opportunity for you to practice patience.
that's for sure. Oh my gosh, he would talk to me about that all the time. When I'm one who drives like a maniac. I'm in a hurry for some reason in my car, and I drive very impatiently, and I'll hit all these stoplights, or I'll be behind somebody driving really slow, and it's always an old person because if I ever act up and I get past these people, I'm like, oh gosh, it's like an elderly man. I'm like, gosh, but the Lord's always like, Dana, be patient. Like, slow down, be patient. I'm like, okay, okay. And he's not just talking about in my driving, it's
Mhm.
just my approach to life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of funny story I'll share. Our street, I've had many encounters at the end of our street where you sit at this stoplight forever if you're going to turn left onto Montgomery Road.
Uh-huh. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. So I was late for an appointment, I don't know, a few weeks ago. And I'm like, I'm going to turn left at the red light because I can't sit here all day. So I turn left. There's a car behind me, one of my neighbors, I don't know who. Just like beep on the horn, honking at me. I'm like, okay, why, mind your own business. Why do you care? I got to go. He drove back to my house because he knew where I lived, knocked on the door, and my husband answers. And he's like, yeah, I just want to let you know, I think your daughter is running that red light at the end of the street. I've seen her do it several times. I'm just concerned that she could get hurt. And my husband's like, yeah, that's my wife.
Oh, missed it.
No patience. Anyway, tangent. Let's get back to you.
But I enjoyed hearing that story.
Yeah. Hey, you talk about a waiting season.
Yeah.
Tell me about that season a little more.
Yeah. So I have a whole chapter on the waiting, and I didn't know it belonged in the book until, well, that's one of the things that God made really obvious. And I realized the reason why waiting needed to be in the book is because it is so hard for any of us, especially, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, like there's specific circumstances, what they're waiting for. But when you're waiting for healing, at least like I was, it was very difficult because I mean, I've even had I had so many people tell me, "You're gonna be healed." And there was no obvious reason to believe that other than these were people who I really felt like had a strong relationship with God, and they weren't saying it to be overly optimistic, like they genuinely felt like
Hmm.
they they knew because they knew because they knew that I was going to get healed. And yet it took 2 years to get a diagnosis. It
Oh
took
gosh.
I don't even know how many I don't even know how many tests I went through, and I was tested to see if I had multiple
Oh
sclerosis.
boy.
I was tested for so many different autoimmune diseases, including one where the specialist thought that I might have an autoimmune disease that only afflicts 50 people in the entire world. And obviously, I did not have that autoimmune disease.
Hmm.
So
So then, after you were diagnosed, how long till you felt like you fully received your healing?
2 years.
Okay.
So it was a 4-year journey,
Okay.
but I could see improvements
Okay.
along
Yeah.
the way.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't like an instantaneous
Bam.
healing. Yeah, and so I talk in the chapter about how challenging it can be with that waiting period
For sure.
because especially when you don't know, there's no clear path. There was nobody guiding me, no person, no human guiding me to say, "Here's how you should heal, Susan." It was all following God, it's kind of like the Israelites going through the desert with the pillar of fire. Like, I think that's really how God wanted to show me.
Hmm.
He wanted me to rely on him. And so through that waiting, it was just so challenging to look around at other people who, they were getting healing or like people would offer to pray for me and I would just put so much weight on it. Like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe this will be the time.
Oh, yeah. Or go to a conference where some big name is
Yeah.
healing people or
Right.
praying for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then nothing
Yeah.
happened.
Hmm.
And, I had even been told at one point that the healing might take a long time. So, and the person who said it was not meaning it in any kind of discouraging way. In fact, I think I needed to hear it
Sure.
because when it took a long time,
Reset your
it did.
expectations.
It reset my expectations so that when I would walk away from somebody praying for me, it wasn't a crushing defeat. It was,
Mhm.
minor disappointment. Like, oh, okay, well, I guess that wasn't the way you wanted me
Exactly.
to be healed.
Yes.
And now I can look back on it and say, thank you, God.
Hmm.
Thank you for it taking that long
Yeah.
because I needed to go through all of those different processes.
Yeah.
If he had healed me instantaneously the way I wanted to be
Right.
healed,
Yeah.
I would have just gone back to my old ways,
Yeah. Yep.
trying to do everything in my own power, trying to
Oh
be
my
everything
gosh,
to
it's so yeah.
everyone, unrealistic expectations,
Mhm.
trying to be a superwoman. That's what I would have done. But instead, he took me on a long journey, the one where I got real healing from the inside out, physically, but more importantly, spiritually. And I learned so much along the way about myself. And honestly, I'm still healing. I don't mean physically, but there's,
Spiritually,
spiritually,
emotionally. Sure.
emotionally,
Yeah.
I didn't know there was more.
The baggage.
Yeah,
You
that
talked
that that
about the
there was
baggage, yeah.
more. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think that I don't think any of us are finished with that.
It's a journey, and I think oftentimes, and I've talked about this before, you have things that are bothering you from years ago that maybe you don't realize it's still kinda in there bothering you. You
Mhm.
haven't resolved it or you haven't given it to God. You haven't let go of it, and it holds you back, like, that's that baggage,
Yeah.
and the Lord will lead you through this in His timing. You can't do it all at once. You wouldn't even know who you were
Yeah.
anymore. If you took it all at one time, you'd be like, "What? Who am I?"
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
You're right. If you took it all away all at once, it'd be like, what just happened? And then, like I said, in my case, I would have just probably gone back and gotten myself some more baggage to carry around.
yeah. Wow. Well, I could keep talking to you forever, so maybe we'll have to get together again,
Sure.
but I think that's a great place to stop for today. Your book, Undoing Superwoman, Susan Wiesemann, Losing Total Control to Gain Ultimate Freedom. Where can we find this, Susan?
So it is on Amazon, but as a small business owner, I'll say it is helpful for people to buy it from my storefront, which
Yeah.
is store.lightofthelamp.org.
Okay.
So they can find it there. And so those are the two ways that you can find my book.
And you're also on Instagram?
I am on Instagram at light.of_the_lamp. And you can also check out my website, lightofthelamp.org. I started Light of the Lamp, honestly, like that was also a God thing, but
Mhm.
that is based on Matthew 5. Just
Love Matthew
wanting,
5. Yeah.
yeah, just that we're not supposed to hide our light.
Mm,
And so he wants me to shine his light and to give hope to other women out there who and men too,
sure.
but so many women who are struggling trying to be superwoman when he's saying you don't need to be. You don't
Yeah.
need to be. So even if a woman isn't struggling with an autoimmune disease, even if she isn't dealing with some other
Right.
mystery illness, there's so many
Busy,
women out
busy.
there. Yes. Yeah. That's our standard protocol, right? Just how are you? Busy.
Well done.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Here's your gold star for being busy. And anyways, so really Light of the Lamp is meant to give hope to women who can get some freedom from trying to be a superwoman.
Wow. Well, I'm really appreciative for the time that you spent with me today and just sharing your story. It's a testimony. And I think to go deeper, get Susan's book. I'm going to finish reading it. I do think it made me laugh out loud, like some of your stories. And I can totally relate. And I'm on a healing journey. I've come a long way. I've dealt with a couple of autoimmune things too.
Mhm.
And I think this is going to further help me, and it's definitely encouraging. So thank you. Thanks for shining your light, Susan.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have for today. If you enjoy the podcast, I hope that you will click follow or subscribe. I don't know which one it is on these different platforms. I don't know what I'm doing. But if you could follow, I would love that, or subscribe on the platform where you're listening. And until next time, remember that God is good and you are good enough for God.